Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today we are going to discuss freedom of press and regulations, debates and contest. This lecture is a part of your paper News and Society. In the lecture, we will learn the meaning, significance, the implementation and the future of media regulation with special reference to India. We are aware that media has gone through tremendous transformation over the years. Media is a reflection of a society, but this reflection sometimes gets distorted with interference from the state or government, and also due to the ownership pattern. Regulation has always been an integral part of media, with its elements having a presence both at the internal and external level. This constant interference and regulation plays a significant role in the selection of the content, its tone and pattern, thus impacting the audience behavior, the decision-making process and the polity. In this light, this lecture will enhance the basic knowledge of media regulation. The story of the birth of media and communication goes back to the human civilization, but the nomenclature got its identity and later acceptability almost a century back. The vast arena of journalism and broadcasting offers a wide window for the dissemination of information. Though the basic definition of journalism underlines the basic elements of neutrality and subjectivity, it filters the socially or politically acceptable news either due to state censorship or under internal pressure. Thus, it actively and powerfully influences the information supply of the respective society in which it operates and thus becomes a key factor in the communication supply itself. In this light, you will find this lecture enabling in understanding the concepts and growth of media regulation in India. The inherent presence of regulation within media has resulted in bringing huge change in the idiom, philosophy and the approach of the supply of the content. The news provider has been under constant scrutiny, both internally and externally, and thus influencing the very structure and concept of journalism. Learning outcome: we will learn the relevance of media regulation in various forms in the existent structure of journalism. The supply of information via media is clearly influenced by the direct and indirect regulation in media. This lecture will also enhance your basic understanding of media regulation and implications. The traditional concept of media regulation: it is not possible to understand the need and relevance of media regulation without understanding the value of freedom of expression. Freedom of expression is directly linked to the individual development as well as development of a nation. In this regard, the emergence of the press was the foremost step towards opening the vast space for communication and also freedom of expression. Empowering every individual to seek, receive or impart information gave them the power to freely participate in the political and social setup. From John Milton to John Stuart Mill, large number of social scientists, human rights practitioners and communication experts laid emphasis on the need for free communication and its relevance in the ongoing development of mass media. Meanwhile, while the stress was being laid on the freedom of expression, media regulation also started developing along the lines as quoted in the United Nations Human Rights Treaty system. The important instrument on human rights addressed to the issue from different dimensions. Freedom of expression requires a platform for its survival with the objective to ensure free flow of opinion and information. Therefore, It is argued to have a structure and regulation for the presence of a healthy media environment. Let us now discuss media regulation. What comes to your mind when you listen to the word regulation? Regulation refers to the process of control under certain defined rules applied by the government and political or administrative authorities on various or any form of media. Any kind of regulation is generally seen as an intervention which may be justified in the name of public interest. Regulation can be generated through both internal and external interventions. With the emergence and the growth of the media, the governance also realized that the potential of the media may be used more by regulating it. Since the emergence of media all across the globe, there has been well thought attempts to devise ways of regulating and controlling it for the use of those who are in power or who possess power sitting on the other side of the corridor. Media certainly is the reflection of the society and has the inherent capability to influence the wider section of the society, from the policy and decision makers to the general audience. It has the capability to set the agenda and influence and interpret the decision. Emergence of media regulation. Let us now look at the emergence of media regulation. Renowned journalist Bill Hegtray, editor British Journalism Review, quipped in 2014 that the entire news media are suspects, the glasses are empty, it is closing time and the bill has to be paid. In fact, the main struggle with the concept of media regulation has been about the justification and broader outline for paraphrasing the both. Fortunately, the growth of print media in India did not face the continuous pressure of regulation, but still it has its own narrative. The period of emergency and before that the independence struggle did it best to clip the wings of the existence media through various means. The neoliberal era of journalism, more so, with the emergence of broadcast media, has pushed the boundaries for deciding more stringent ways. With the spread in the branches of journalism, the need and greed to control the media has increased in diversified ways. The desire to control the content and the image has emerged out of fear, more so from the governance, resulting in the pressure to show what is desirable for those in the seats of power. This direct and indirect control over the newsroom pops up with another inherent desire to make the media look neutral. Yet the messages appear what the governance is convinced of. This strange penetration of the authoritative yet sublime influence has resulted in a media that cannot confidently emerge as completely neutral of the external pressures and forces. As mentioned in the Constitution of India, the right to freedom of speech and expression is provided in Article 19 of the Indian Constitution. It is believed that freedom of speech and expression in Article 19 of the Indian Constitution include freedom of the press with no direct reference to freedom of speech. Every Indian has the right to express ideas and views freely through press and public platform. But there are some restrictions too that were deemed fit looking at the Indian framework. The Indian Law Journal also states that the restrictions mentioned in Article 19 are defamation, contempt of court, decency or morality, security of the state, friendly relations with other states, incitement to an offence, public order and maintenance of the sovereignty and integrity of India. This is also to be noted that the Constitution does not give any power to the government to put arbitrary restrictions on the press, but with the growing power of media. The temptation to regulate the media has increased so that the media is confined to certain boundaries designed and liked by those in power. Censorship and media regulation is considered valid during emergent condition if it is reasonable and is in public interest. It should also qualify that it is needed in maintaining some sort of public order despite the availability of all the valid and justifiable reasons. Presented by the government, media regulation is considered as a threat on the freedom of the press and is seen as an attempt by the government to control it for its own vested interest. Thus, this issue has gone through a long history of debates and it will remain so. But how is media being regulated? There are certain ways of implementing it. It could be statutory, self-regulatory, co-regulated, or by an independent regulator. The main characteristics of media regulation is that every medium has its own distinctive model of regulation according to the technology, needs, functions, and applications. Broadly, the regulatory models in media are applicable on the press, telecommunications, especially telegraphy and telephony, and broadcasting. Now, taking this further, media regulation can keep a tab on multiple aspects. These are structure, infrastructure, distribution, access, conduct, and content. It is essential for the newsmakers, practitioners, observers, and the student and consumers of journalism to decipher the complex regulatory framework. While newsrooms all across breathe under fear and varied pressures, one cannot ignore that the huge giant of regulation remains omnipresent. While style sheets and the rule book provided by the HR discuss about the basic conduct rule, the invisible presence of media regulation is not discussed in an open space. While laws, codes, and ethics are heard on regular basis, and the ongoing debates for maintaining best standards of journalism are argued. The issues concerning the loopholes of regulatory bodies are conveniently brushed off. Let us try to identify and address the range of issues in this context. Various theories and approaches have emerged over the years to decode the necessity and impact of media regulation. In the libertarian model, the core need for the free flow of information, freedom to communicate, political, social, and cultural development, democracy, and equality for all remain the top priority. These fundamental objectives revolve around the most accepted concept of public interest. The basic elements of media regulation have been prevalent over the years. Thus, discussing the rationale behind it would also require an honest investigation into the historical perspective across varied cultures and countries. Liberal theory, the whole idea of having a free market adds to the consumers' choice and plurality of opinion and platform. This in turn enables the marketplace to diversify and explore more options. In this kind of situation, the consumer thinks that he is the king and the platter needs to be reinvented tastefully and accurately on a regular basis. This consumer becomes more demanding, more intelligent, less tolerant, and highly critical. The strong viewpoints start emerging, forcing the market for a rapid change. Whenever the monopoly gets shredded into pieces, increased options and fierce competition embarks upon a complete makeover. One can see this remarkable change in various media cultures. Whenever the market starts discussing in terms of figures, losses, and profits, basic value of journalism starts shrinking. The entry of the marketing team into the editorial space brings serious conflicts. This market model is laced with the number of concerns. The concentration of ownership in media may have helped in the growth and expansion of huge profits, but it has very clearly reduced the diversity of opinions in every newsroom. For example, in India, the entire news media is owned by a limited set of big families. This has resulted in compromising opinions on a large scale with no rules and regulations clearly laid out by the INB ministry. It is a cakewalk for the big corporate houses to have more. This has also resulted in very deeper political influence that has threatened the editorial space, leading in coloring of minds of those who are fence sitters and indecisive, especially before elections. While the libertarian theory advocates the concept of free press, and it also feels that any defense by the state on media in whatsoever form can undermine their democratic role as a watchdog. This theory stipulates that any hurdle or censorship imposed by the government or the state can hamper the democratic process. The media is accountable to the public, and thus any hindrance in between is against the concept of the freedom of press. Let us have a look at the global perspective regarding regulations. In the US, this is embodied with a direct reference to the press in the First Amendment to the Constitution. In the English law, where there is no similar formal written constitution, the protection of free speech rests with Parliament, the courts and the Human Rights Act 1998. Between all the debates on media regulation, the media heavily depends upon the government directly or indirectly. With all the strong philosophical and theoretical arguments in support of free speech, there comes the conflict on the issues of privacy and the right to a free trial. The famous quote by A.G. Liebling in 1964 captures the scenario well. The freedom of the press is guaranteed only to those who owns one. Media in the UK has also always been heavily regulated, though the primary definition of journalism emphasizes on accuracy, accountability and neutrality. It becomes almost impossible for a newsroom to even breathe freely under the constant threat of regulation. In the UK, a number of laws address the concerns relating to the excesses in journalism. They also have the inherent power to act as a constraint on media freedom. The government can very easily invoke laws under the umbrella of national security, of confidentiality, without giving any justification that it is for their own protection. Apart from a variety of laws, a number of statutory, self and co-regulatory bodies are existent in an effort to create equilibrium between the industry and the public interest. Anthony Smith, a famous political journalist, said this regarding the regulations. Parliament looms over the BBC like a cloud of unknowing. It is a preoccupation and a permanent source of irritation and threat. Like aging, rich aunt suffering from a long drawn out disease and insistently changing her will. Parliament's very presence nags at BBC. In India, the media is mostly self-regulated. The existing bodies for regulation of media, such as the Press Council of India, which is a statutory body, and the News Broadcasting Standard Authority, a self-regulatory organization, are entrusted with the responsibility to set guidelines for fair and smooth functioning of the media. PCI was established under the PCI Act of 1978 with the objective to preserve the freedom of the press and to maintain and improve the standard of newspapers and news agencies in India. The Press Council of India was first constituted on 4 July 1966 as an autonomous statutory quasi-judicial body. The website of the council states that the Press Council Act 1965 listed the functions of the council in furtherance of its object to help newspapers to maintain their independence, to build up a code of conduct for newspaper, and journalists in accordance with high professional standards. To ensure on the part of newspapers and journalists the maintenance of high standards of public taste and foster a due sense of both the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. To encouraging the growth of a sense of responsibility and public service among all those engaged in the profession of journalism. To keep under review any development likely to restrict the supply and dissemination of news of public interest and importance. To promote the establishment of such common service for the supply and dissemination of news to newspapers as may, from time to time, appear to it to be desirable. To provide facilities for the proper education and training of persons in the profession of journalism, to study developments which may tend towards monopoly or concentration of ownership of newspapers, including a study of the ownership of financial structure of newspapers, and if necessary to suggest remedies, therefore to do such other acts as may be incidental or conducive to the discharge of the above functions. Now the Council is entrusted with the powers to look into the complaints regarding the violation of norms of journalism by constituting inquiry committee. Similarly, the News Broadcasting Standard Authority is a self-regulatory organization with the objective to regulate television content. It is empowered to warn, admonish, censor, express disapproval and fine the broadcaster with a sum up to Rs 1 lakh for violation of the Code of Ethics decided by NBA. Another such organization is the Broadcast Editors Association. Similarly, the Advertising Standard Council of India deals with the content of advertisement, but these bodies do not have any statutory powers. In this context, media regulation has these three broad objectives: regulating media in the interest of the state and the government, regulating media in public interest, regulating media in the combined interest of the state and the owner, completely bypassing the interest of the public or the nation. The notion of a free press remains a sacrosanct principle for the journalist surviving in the modern age. The history of the press also suggests that the political power has always tried to maintain the distance as well as relationship of friendship with journalists and owners. Summary. Let us now try and summarize what we have discussed in the lecture. We attempted to bring out different shades of media regulation, its significance and impact. Since the media is entrusted with the job of providing free and fair news and opinion, it must be empowered with the right to express itself freely and without any pressures. Media cannot fulfill its social responsibility without having a free editorial space. In the growing global media landscape, media cannot run under strict rules of the state, but that also does not mean that media has the right to misuse its freedom and the power. In this regard, we are left with the only alternative of having self-regulation, which is seen as a better option than having a state control. Since media is answerable to the public at large, it is essential to have a system that promotes transparency and social responsibility, and for this, we need a well-structured framework with ever-changing political culture. The fear of media getting governed, administered, controlled and regulated by the state is a dangerous proposition. Media must revolve around the basic concept of public interest. The beauty and the rigor of media lies in its diversified function. One cannot have a mirror which is hidden within a cloth. The mirror has to tell the truth and unveil the darker shades of the society. Media is aware of its power, and so is the state. With the growing penetration of the market and advertising into the newsroom, the editorial space is struggling for life. While the state can present powerful deliberations on media, regulation, and the need for checks and balances, one has to be clear that media is all about freedom and not constraint. Do attempt the questions in the self-evaluate quadrant. For further reading, suggestions, please refer to the third quadrant. Thank you.